This lack of communication ramifies into a lot of problems, follow-up confusions, patients taking medications inappropriately. So not only do they take medications in a way that can hurt themselves, it's just not effective, right? So this, I've had multiple times where even patients that I speak from the same language, they have written instructions and they will still take the medications inappropriately because they thought, and the thought goes over what is actually written in front of them. So this is a big issue. So communication is a many-way tool. It's a physician to physician, it's the physician to his background, it's the patient to his background, and it's the patient live with his mind. It's also what the physician remembers. So the best, in my opinion, right now is to have everything written down so that the patients can actually read what multiple times and they can go back to it if they have doubts, rather than to rely on their memory, which sometimes it's just not working too well because they're too stressed. So traditional solutions to these issues in the past have been like, hey, the patient came with his daughter or her son, and then he's the only person we have that can help with the translation, so we use that person. We shouldn't do this, right? We should use a professional grade medical translator. But it's very hard to come by in ways to be realistic. So the other example, translation delays impacting care. You have to start calling the company, that offers you this translation service. They have to communicate you with somebody. Documentation mismatches, increased costs and complexity. So not only all these, I will say the inaccurate symptom reporting is the most dangerous thing. Is that the patient thinks the doctor is asking something and he answers to the question that he thinks the doctor is asking, but that's because he doesn't understand the language. So it's like saying, imagine I examined you and what I examined was like a pure hallucination. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like I gave you the recipes to make apple pie, and then I would give you like rocks, salt, pebbles, figs, paint, glass, like things that are randomly inserted in there. And this is one of the big problems in this, is that we actually can harm patients down the line. So instant HPI is a multilingual solution. So just so you understand, this system is something that I can use if I see a lot of patients that are multilingual. So this is actually, let me explain how my system works. My system works in the following fashion. We get the information from the patient in his language. So he will fill up a form in his language, Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, it doesn't really matter. The example that I took for this presentation here today, it's a patient that speaks Japanese. So he will write down and type out with it in Japanese, right? And so when he reads and he writes down his story, it's in his language using his words, right? And then the language expert, the translating expert, it's actually going to be AI. So some AIs out there are very well trained for all sorts of translations like these. Now, in the future, what we probably will be seeing more is of that Gemini meetup from Google. Google Meetup has Google Meet, it's called. Google Meet has this new AI system that will translate. I speak in English, they listen, they hear me in Chinese. They speak in Chinese, I listen to them in English. So they have this thing coming up in the future that's definitely going to change how all this type of stuff is done. But it will not remove the fact that written conversation is more efficient because it doesn't rely on interpretation as much as and remembrance, right?